Okay, so welcome back to part 2 of our Tamiya Toyota Supra with zoom on TRD kit. I picked up where we left off last time. We're going to start by clear coating the car today. So all the necessary precautions here. We've got our full length arm gloves, like we're going to be giving birth to a baby cow. We've got some nitrile gloves as well. We've got our 3M full face respirator on with the applicable filters. We've got a fresh filter in the spray booth. We've got some fresh tissue down to try and cut down on dust. We're in the room on our own. There's no pets, animals, babies, friends, antelopes, nothing in there. And we've also got my little box to the left to help protect the model when it's been cleared. We're going to wet the surface of the tissue. The idea of this is anything that lands on the tissue should then stick to the wet surface and not get airborne again. And all this is to minimise the dust. Now we've got the ProScale Paints 2K system here. This is a two-part system of clear and activator and is thinned with our thinner. Now it's a two-part clear to one-part activator mix. So if you put in, say, 10 millilitres of clear, one part of that will be 5 ml because two parts of it equates to 10. So 10 ml of clear, 5 ml of activator, using a fresh pipette for the activator. There's 2.5 ml. And there's another 2.5 ml in there. There we go. We can then put the lid back on and put that securely out of the way. We'll then mix all that together and get the chemical process started. And then we're going to throw the pipette away and never use it again. Simple as that. Don't ever contaminate the bottles with the pipettes. Once they're used, throw them away. Give it a good clear mix till it all goes clear. Now we're going to get our thinner and we're going to thin this 5%. So 10% of this combined 50 milliliter mix will be 1.5 milliliters. So 5% is 0.75. So if you do in between half and 1 milliliter, you'll be thin just perfect. So using our pipette, we'll do that as well. Just trying to get the measurements absolutely perfect. There we go, pop that in. Minimal amount of thinner needed, which is why 2K is so safe over decals. It doesn't melt them because it's not hot. Again, using this pipette, we're going to mix that together. Get it all thoroughly mixed, and we're going to throw the pipette away and never use that one again either. So with that done, we're now going to strain it. So we've got a 190 micron strainer, which we sell over on ProScale. And we're going to strain the 2K. And we do this because you can get a few remnants of crusty activator around the neck of the bottle. We don't want this going in our clear coat and being sprayed on the car. Now the car's securely mounted to the Tamiya stand. Mr. Dan Norris, take note. I know you've rectified this, but yes, as Dan learned the other day, things fall off stands. We're cleaning the body with a Tamiya anti-static brush, and we've got all our other parts ready to 2K as well. So we've got our Iwata Revolution CR, which is a 0.5 ml airbrush, or about 18-20 psi, and we're going to put down a nice wet coat of 2K to begin with. So we're just going to apply this and apply a nice wet coat. We're not trying to get a full wet coat. We're just putting down a wet coat equally all over the body. So we're going to do 2 wet coats, and then we're going to thin the 2K a bit more and do however many more coats it needs. Probably 1 on this. So start at the bottom in the sills and work your way up the body. Systematically overlap the coat as well. Keep the wet edge of the paint. And also be aware of all the recesses and angles around the bumpers, wheel arches, sills, in and around the front bumper. And just make sure you're getting a nice even coat. And as you'll notice with this paint, it instantly darkens. You'll see it on that roof where it was green. It now darkens up. And then work our way around the entire body, just getting that coat nice and even all over. Not forgetting our wheel arches. And there we go. There's our first coat on the body. So that's going to go back in our box for about 5 minutes. I'm just making sure it's all nice and even all over, which it is. Then we're going to grab all the other parts. So we have the bonnet here. Again, wipe over the anti-static brush. And again, nice wet coat all over there as well. You can see me following the wet edge. Make sure you get the sides as well. And I tend to do just underneath the edge too. Get that out of the way. And then we've got our little stand with our rear spoiler on. Yes, it's a little bit rustic, but it works. Basically, it's held onto the brass pins. And then the clips underneath allow me to stand it up. And then we come back for our second coat. So 5 minutes have elapsed. And here's a second coat, almost identical to the first one. Not much difference at all. Just getting a nice wet coat down. Again, not trying to get the full coverage, but just trying to get that even coverage all over the body. And this is the key here. Don't rush it. These are your building up stages. We're going to get our final gloss from the last stage once the 2K is thinned a bit more. Once it's thinned a bit more, it will self-level easier. It will spray a bit finer as well. And that's where all our hard work's going to come to fruition. So we're kind of laying the foundation here of our 2K. Again, keeping the wet edge right across the top. Don't forget the back of the roof. That's one area I always tend to miss. And don't forget all the pillars as well. Just keep the coat nice and even all over and use the light in your boot to your advantage to look all over the body. As you can see, we're getting a real nice clear coat there already. So that's starting to look really good. And again, we'll deal with our bonnet and our spoiler at the same time as well. Now the mirrors I have not done yet. We'll do those at a later date because I hadn't carboned them yet. I wasn't 100% sure what route I was going to go with the mirrors, so I hadn't done them at this stage just yet. But my main focus here was to get this 2K'd. So same with the bonnet, nice wet coat, keeping the wet edge. And there we go. So what we're going to do now is we're going to tip all the 2K into a fresh medicine cup. So out the airbrush and out the cup. That way we can measure it perfectly. So pouring this back in here, if you've got 10 millilitres of the mix left, we're going to thin that 10%. So add another 1 ml of thinner. This will thin it drastically. Even a small amount, it makes a huge difference. Now tested every which way but loose with this. And for me, this is the optimum way to use our 2K. So back into the airbrush of our thin mix. You're going to notice it's going to spray a lot better. So what I've done, I've moved back from the airbrush a touch. And now we're going to get our full gloss coat. So I'm just going to work my way around the whole car first. Just giving a nice even coat all over. We'll then pop it back in its box for a minute while we do the bonnet and the spoiler. It will all self-level out nice so we can get it back out and have a look. And if it needs a little bit more, we'll give it a little bit more. And if it doesn't, we'll leave it be. This is the beauty of 2K, and especially Pro Scale 2K. You can really push this. I've pushed it way beyond where I thought it was its limits, and it still hasn't ran or had any issues at all. Even on the beginning of Eurus, you're going to see after this, I actually knock over at the end of a 2K session and damage the top of the roof. And I just put a load more 2K on, it's self-leveled out, and you can not even see where that happened. So just using the lights, making sure we've got a nice even coat. What we want to look here is it looking like glass. We don't want any orange peel or any imperfections. We want it gone at this stage, because how you leave this body now is how it's going to dry. So if you can see orange peel or imperfections, that's exactly going to be how it's going to dry. Don't be afraid to push it with a little bit more clear, because if you put a bit more clear down, it will self-level more and it'll lay absolutely perfect. It should literally look like still water. If it doesn't, put a little bit more clear down. Don't be afraid to push it. Trust me, if you push it that little bit further, it will give you a much better finish and it'll take a lot less work later on. So with that done, quick final inspection. And this passes my test absolutely perfectly. It doesn't need any more paint. Beautiful clear coat and an absolutely crazy colour. So back in the booth that goes. So here it is under the bench light a few hours later. And you can see there going from green to black with a slight purple hue. It is such a strange effect. Literally where there's no light. And it's not even like a gradual fade. It's like a light switch from black to green. And it is crazy. It is absolutely beautiful. There's loads of other colours in this range of paints. They cost an astronomical amount of money. Or astronomical, rather. So it's something we will add. But you can see the effect on the roof. The roof's black. Where the light catches the side, it goes green. It really is. And like I say, these are overscale flakes. It is a show car paint. So they always have slightly bigger flakes in them. But what an absolutely beautiful colour and a very nice effect on the chroma flare. It really does look a cool effect. So yes, under all different lights, it shows different colours. So yeah, it is a bit of an odd one. Right, we're going to leave that to dry now for 7 days or so. I'm going to work on the rest of the car. So for me, that's the fun bit done. I really enjoy painting the bodies. After that, it's always like, oh God, I've got this to do now. But nevertheless, we'll still enjoy it. Now, the original plan with this car was to light it up. So you're going to see holes in the chassis at the back where I planned to put a switch. And I did start lighting it up. I spent 3 hours wiring something up to go and stuff it up, break it, and think, yeah, that's it, I'm done, I'm not going to light it up, and I didn't do it. So you are going to see a few bits of like holes in the chassis and things, so it's not quite perfect. So it is what it is. But yeah, I did plan to light it up. I had the neons underneath. They looked awesome as well. We sell those on Pro Scale. I'll revisit it later and put them in another car, but I was just running out of patience this day. And here we are. So they've all been primed now in Mr. Surfacer 1500 Black. All the parts here are getting it. Just a couple of light coats over all the parts. Something I want to discuss with my patrons more than anything is removing some of this footage that's kind of generic. I've cut it down immensely already. Is priming stage. Do you really need to see any of the priming stage? I think it's worth showing a little bit, just so you can see what's going on. As you can see there, we've got lots of parts there primed. And now I'm just looking through as to what needs to be what colour. So these are all the semi-gloss black colours now. I've got some pre-thin Tamiya LP5, and I was going through the instructions, looking for all the parts that call for a semi-gloss finish. I was painting all these up, and we're going to work our way around all the parts until we're happy we've got everything the appropriate colour it's going to need. Interior, we're going with Napa Black from Pro Scale. It's our leather colour. It's an absolutely beautiful colour. And we're going to use a new product today, which I've not used before, which is the Zoom-on carpet sets. They are very easy to use, very affordable. They do quite a lot for a lot of the Tamiya cars, especially the JDM ones. So you'll see a lot of these in future. So yeah, here we've got some textured Napa Black from Pro Scale as well. So the same colour we painted the interior, just with a texture finish to give the fabric effect on the seat. So I'm doing this on the front seats and the rear bench part of the seat as well. The rest of it we're going to leave like it's either a plastic or a vinyl cover. So just some very careful spraying in the body. We can get this absolutely accurately in there. So yeah, it goes down really well. The texture paint really does look like fabric as well. It is a very, very nice effect. So just gently build it up. It doesn't need to be hosed on. Just build it up nice and slow. And here you go. There's the textured effect on the seat. I think it's pretty good myself. So it looks like fabric. And these bride seats from Zoom-on, I've added these. They're a very nice addition to the kit. The Transkit did come with some seats. I wasn't that keen on them, so I saved them for a future project. With the engine built up, we glued the two halves together. We've got some Pro Scale bright aluminium, and we're going to paint it up in those colours as well. We're going to use a multitude of different metal colours on all these separate parts here. I've segregated them from the other parts, so I know these are metallic colours, or anything that's going to be a different colour. So a couple of coats of the bright aluminium, just getting all the different angles, we can get it in there. Same on the turbo inlets as well. The metallics from Pro Scale, super finely pigmented, and they spray absolutely beautiful as well. Just several light coats, just take your time building it up, and they cover really, really well. So there we go. So now we've got a bit of assembly to do. So what I'm doing here is wiping off wash. I'll give everything a bit of a black panel line wash. Now, I did pick a set of wheels for this, and they looked absolutely amazing. Painted them all up, polished all the rims and everything, and they were just too wide for the car. The offset was way off, so hopefully we can use them for a future project. So we had to have a drastic change of wheels midway through the build, which isn't the best because it wasn't the original plan. The wheels looked absolutely phenomenal as well, which is a real shame. Brake discs, calipers, I'm painting up in Tamiya enamel gold. Couldn't decide on a colour. I just thought, you know what, we'll just do them gold. We've got some gloss black for the suspension springs as well. So there's some very careful painting on the surface of the spring too. There we go. I do rate the Tamiya enamels. They are very nice to brush paint with. And then on the engine cover, we're using some Tamiya gunmetal as well. And with some very gentle brushing, very careful, accurate brushing, we can get this painted without a problem. If you're unsure, you could mask it and spray it. For me, I know I can paint pretty accurately. So the old optivisor on and a nice Tamiya flat brush, I know I can get this down with no issue whatsoever. So lots of little bits and bobs to do here. Like I say, we did plan on lighting it, but all the best laid plans don't always go to plan, do they really? Dashboard, I'm painting the console in semi-gloss black from Tamiya, just to give it that different tonal effect it asks for in instructions. So just some careful brush painting. These Tamiya HF brushes, these are some of the best disposable brushes you will get. I say disposable because you're not going to own them for years. I've got Winsor & Newton I've had for years. The Tamiyas, they're a limited lifetime span. If you take care of them, you get a few years out of them. We've got the Bride seats with the lovely Bride decals in there. Like I say, these are zoom-on seats we sell over on ProScale, and I thought they were very apt for this car. We've got a zoom-on turned metal gear stick for the interior as well, just to take away from the drabness a little bit, because it is quite a drab interior, which is why I also picked the nicer seats too. So literally a dab of super glue. And then the carpet set, first time using these, and I was very impressed. So we've got to arrange them over on ProScale now. They're literally die cut, pre-cut, ready to go. You just peel the back off, stick them in place, job done. No mess, no faff, really easy to do. So, like I say, very first time using them, so I tried a bit of a test fit first. Have a look at which way does this go. Oh, yeah. So they go around the seat mount, so it doesn't interfere with you gluing down either. And yeah, they look really, really good. So you literally peel the backing paper off. It's self-adhesive. And just very carefully glue it in place. I use my tweezers to get it in accurately. There we go. So once you've got it accurately, just push it down, use your fingers. And yeah, really nice touch. So we're definitely getting more of these. Hopefully Zoom On will add to the range over time, and we get more and more carpets, more and more kits. Most of the JDMs are covered though, which is primarily what Zoom On sells, and it's primarily for probably Tamiya, I would say. But yeah, nice easy touch, went down really well, and a good look as well. You know, it's scaled. I think flocking looks good as well. Flocking's a bit more flexible because you can put it anywhere you like. The downside to flocking is it can make a bit of a mess. That is the real downside to it. But obviously, for a pot of flock, it's going to last a lot longer. You're going to get multiple cars out of it. But for convenience, these are absolutely fantastic. And yeah, like I said, I've got a few of these in the stash myself now for some future projects. So we'll see more of these in the builds as we go. And like I say, I'll keep adding them to the website as and when they go through. But I think they're a nice little touch. It's a nice, quick, easy way to add a bit of detail. Like I say, for me, sadly, Japanese cars of this era, the interiors are just a little bit drab and bland. There's nothing really much to write home about. I did consider putting a different colour in for the seats, and I thought it more than likely would have either been black or grey. And Napa Black is literally one of my favourite ProScale paints, so yeah, it was a winner all day. The rear parcel shelf now. This is a big piece, so make sure you get the right way around. This has to conform over those little humps on the side, so just line it up one side. Place it in and just give it a bit of a push around with the tweezers, a little bit of a gentle push in with the back of the tweezers. And there we go, there's our carpeted interior. So any dust on there, you can get your hoover out, give it a quick hoover or a blow. Hey. And there we go, nice simple touch. It looks well, very effective, and they're not expensive at all. They're about £2, £3 a set. So yeah, not bad at all. We've got some photo etch on the interior now as well. We've got the foot pedals gone in. We've got all the decals on the dash, the steering wheels on with its logo in there as well. And then we've got our suspension hubs, steering hubs and brake calipers and discs. So I'm just test fitting everything to see how it goes. Make sure we've got the right way around. Some of the instructions can be a little bit confusing sometimes, so I would always recommend test fitting before gluing. And if you use the Bob Smiths, you get a few seconds of, I put that in the wrong place time, where you can unglue it. I've painted underneath the chassis in the body colour and give it a little bit of a clear with some Mr. Hobby Super Clear, and these are our replacement wheels. So these are the raised TE037s, and we're going to be painting these in raised. Hang on, did I do? No, I did gunmetal, didn't I? What I did do raised bronze originally, and I wasn't sure on the colour, and I changed it. But either way, we're going to prime these in Mr. 1500 black. Really nice wheels, 20-inch wheels in real life. They are going to need some modification to get them to fit to the car, but we'll get to that a bit later. As you see, I did spray them raised bronze. They did look absolutely fantastic, but it's kind of stereotypical, that colour. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to go light gunmetal. I used light gunmetal on the 812 Ferrari we did recently, and it's such a nice looking, subtle wheel colour that I thought, you know what, I think it'll really suit this colour on this car. So yeah, a couple of coats of paint soon covered that up. Obviously, when you're painting wheels, don't forget the insides as well. And do the very edge of the outside of the rim as well, because sometimes the tyre can show through the edge. So always make sure you just cover the edge and get all the angles on the wheel. But the light gunmetal, I think it was a good idea. And there they are. Beautiful rims, very nice printed rims from Zoom. There are a few sets of wheels on the side. They do need a bit of work because they're just kind of generic wheels. We are going to have to get my Proxon grinder on this later just to remove a little bit of material out the back. And we will have to do a sacrificial cut on the the wheel hubs later on as well. Full set of decals for the wheels as well. So there's 3 decals per wheel. I'm not going to show them all going in place, but literally look at a real life reference to this car and you'll see the decals I was putting on. So optimizer on, precision tweezers, get the decals in place, set them in place, job done. There we go. I'm very happy with this wheel colour. It looks really good. We give them a light panel line wash as well, with some Tamiya black panel line wash. Just touching around the hubs inside and the wheel nuts. Nowhere else, just to get a little bit of capillary action. And while we're here, a cheeky fit of the engine to see how that fits in place as well. And it fits in place really well, so no issues there. Typical Tamiya kit, everything just falls together. So, wheels, now they've been decaled, left overnight, we can clear coat them. So some Mr. Hobby GX112, I think it is. Clear coat, thinner with Mr. Hobby leveling thinner. Couple of coats to get our base coat down, and then a couple of wet coats at the end. Using our Iwata HPC Plus, 1820 PSI. And just laying it down over the top, and we've got a beautifully finished rim. I've done the wheel nuts in gold as well, and we've got the tyres here too, which literally just fit over beautifully onto the rim. I always go back to front so we don't scrape any paint off. Just make sure you clear coat till they're dry. And there we go, happy with those wheels, they look really, really good. So here's the gold for the wheel nuts. I'm not zoomed in, I do apologise, I thought I was on this one. But I am literally using a very small mascara brush, which is a tip my buddy Brandon gave me. These are disposable brushes, ideal for little jobs like this. A convenience product, definitely for sure, because after 1 or 2 uses that'll go in the bin. And we've got some tyre valves as well. No tyre valves in the kit, which is a shame with the Transkit, but Zoom does have these. So, we've recently started stocking these little Tamiya pin vices, which I've never used before, and they are mainly for microscopic drill bits. Now, Zoom sells this very nice little drill bit set. It's dirt cheap. It goes right down to the minutest size I can see, and combined with this pin vise, it's an ideal solution for drilling really small holes. And as you'll see here, once I get in place, there we go. I'm going to angle it for you so I can show you properly. I've just literally started the drill where I need, and then very light turning, a little bit of pressure, not a lot at all. We can drill until we get through the wheel itself. So this little pin vise is a very invaluable tool, and these drill bits are very, very nice too. With that, we can put a little dab of shea glue in the hole with our precision applicators, also available on Pro Scale. And then with tweezers, we can grab the tyre valve. You need an optimizer on for this, these parts are tiny. Line up with the hole, just push it home, and job done. There we go. There's our tyre valve in place. Perfect, nice little touch. Now you can leave them silver if you want. as if they're an anodized part, wiping off a little bit of excess glue there, or you can paint them black so they look like the rubber type most cars come with. I'm leaving these silver because it is a show car. The battery are very rustically wired up. I basically just put a hole into the top of the battery terminals and put a red and black wire in. And there we go. That's us for today. We're back with part 3 very, very soon. As always, a huge thanks to all my patrons for the current support. And if you'd like to become a patron, there is a link to join in the description down below. So take care, everyone. Bye-bye.